Hello, so today we are going to solve this problem called valid parentheses string. So the problem says given a string containing only 3 types of characters, open parentheses, close parentheses, and star, we want to write a function to check whether this string is valid. And we define the validity of the string by the following rules. Any left parentheses must have corresponding right parentheses, and any right parentheses must have corresponding left parentheses like this. And left parentheses must go before the corresponding right parentheses, right? And then star could be treated as a single right parentheses or a single left parentheses. Okay, so the normal order of parentheses, and we need to have all of parentheses closed, right? And when we have a star, we could either replace it with consider this one or just an empty string. And an empty string is also valid, let's set parentheses. So this one is valid, we just ignore the star. This one is valid because we could replace the star with an open parentheses and get a good a valid string, right? And so usually the problems like this need a stack, right? So let's try to use that. So what if I have stack like this, and then I just go to this through the string. So if I go through the string here, I just check if C is equal to an open parentheses. What should I do, right? So if it's an open parentheses, I should add it to the stack, right? So now else if C is equal to close parentheses, I should pop it from this. I should pop from the stack, right? Now what happens is so what happens if C is equal to a star, right? So I could go either way. I could either open or close, right? So here also I should check. So what if I just append so what we want is the stack to be empty at the end. So that's what we want. But how do we handle star? So this would work for valid for those that don't contain a star that we want to check the validity for, like something like this or this, which should be invalid, right? But what should we do for the star case? So let's say this one here. Let's try a couple of them. So this one, well, what will happen is that we will put this in the stack, and then we will have, let's say we put star in the stack. So then we will encounter close parentheses, right? And so we would remove this, and then we will encounter another close parenthesis, so we'll remove this. So adding it to the stack works. But what if we had something like a little bit different, like let's say there was an open parenthesis, but this closed one is like this. So this should be valid, right? So what I would do here is I'll add open parentheses to the stack, and then I'll add another open parentheses, and then I'll get a star. Now, in the previous example, I pushed the star. So if I do that in the close parentheses, then I will have a problem, because now close parentheses, I don't add it to the stack, I'll just pop, and that's a problem, right? And then I'll get another close. So yeah, that's a problem because this string is valid. So basically I'll need, depending on the value here, I'll need to make this a closed or open parenthesis. But maybe we get another example where we have Okay, I think actually what we should do is just count the numbers that that we are allowing. So allowed, right? So, and else here we could just say allowed increase, right? And then we can allow this. So stack length. Would this work in all cases? Why does it say false? Let's see here. Let's run this. So the stack is empty, and allowed is also is should be 0. Oh yeah, I made a mistake here. This should be 0. Let's try again. Okay, let's try this example. Okay, so since it can be an empty string, actually what we are looking for is less than, because we don't have to use all of them. Okay, we have that. Let's try this one and this one. So yeah, we shouldn't pop from an empty list, and that happens with this one. Okay, so we should do this here. So if not stack, so stack is empty, and allowed is bigger than 0, then we could just use allowed. Else we can do this, but what if so let's first do if stack, right? If stack, we could just pop from the stack. Otherwise, I mean, we could just return false and continue. Okay, let's take this one. So this one should be true. And then, so this one should return true. And okay, let's try with another that should be false. So this one should definitely be false. Okay, so that worked. Let's submit. Okay, we have a wrong answer here. Let's try. So this one should be true, right? What about this one? This one should be false. Let's see. And let's also try with another, just close parentheses. Okay, so all these work. Actually, I think I can change the way I'm solving this a little bit. So instead of using this, I want to use an overall balance, and maybe also, yeah, an overall balance, and then try the 3 different ways we could use star, right? We could use star either to add this, or we can use it to add the close parentheses or as an empty string, right? So we could try that here instead of doing this. So that would be, let's call this helper function here, and we would have like balance, right? And then where we are in the string, and so here we would start out with calling helper, like starting at 0, and the balance starts out as 0. That's what we want to return. And then here we want to do if s at I is equal to an open parenthesis. So first of all, if if the balance ever reaches less than 0, then we should return false, right? Then here I would increase the balance by 1. And then if it's equal to close parentheses, I'll decrement the balance. And then if it's a star, I can try calling out so here we'll need to call helper with I plus 1 and then a new balance, so that would be balance plus 1. We don't need to do this. Here we could do it with minus 1, and here we want to return if any of them is true. So I plus 1 with balance, try balance plus 1. And then we want to try balance minus 1. Or we want to try ignoring, so basically not using any, making it an empty string essentially. And then we might reach the end of the string. So if I equal to just return whether the balance is equal to 0, right? That's what we want. I want to also test with this one. So we have a problem in line 7. Yep. Okay, looks like this is correct. Okay, so we have time limit exceeded on last one. So maybe, what if we used memorization here? So let's see. And then what should go here? So what we want is if I in balance in MO, and I return that. string. So we could just put that here. And then at the end, we just return. Okay, seems still good. Let's try with this example. Okay, it looks good there too. I'll submit. Okay, so that's accepted. So what I did here is memorization, maybe to make this a little bit clear. Let's put this on a line down, this one too. So I'm just using balance here, but the main point is here I try both using star as an open parentheses, using it as close parentheses, and using it as an empty string, because I don't have a way really to know in advance how can I use it, right? And so this is a way of getting around to that. The rest is just like increasing by 1 if we encounter an open parentheses, and decreasing by 1 if we encounter close parentheses. And if it's valid, then by the end it should be equal to 0. And that's pretty much it for this problem. Yeah.